Hello chess friends and welcome to the channel. I'm back with Firouzja versus Nakamura game 2 played yesterday at the Chess24 Magnus Carlsen Invitational. A controversial match because game 1 had technical problems, but about that we will talk at the end of the video. Now let's begin with the actual game because it's a very nice game. Nakamura with the white pieces opens with knight to f3, so the game begins with the Reti opening, but we know well that the Reti can transpose to many different openings. So Firouzja answers with d5, now g3 and knight to f6, bishop to g2, e6 and now d4, bishop to e7, c4, short castle for black, and we are in a close Catalan. Notice that the black player has a sort of French setup, and against the French, this bishop in fianchetto is not so powerful, at least for now, but this is just to talk a bit about the feature of this initial position, because of course white is more than fine. Now after short castle, here comes queen to c2, protecting the pawn, and now c5, attacking the center. In 2015, with this position on the board, Nakamura, still with the white pieces, won against Anand, so he knows well and can play well this position. Now short castle for white and c captures on d4 is the main line. Instead of c captures on d4, knight to c6 is an important alternative. Knight captures on d4, in this position against Nakamura, Anand played the good sideline queen to b6. Firouzja instead advances e5 with tempo. Knight to f5, attacking this important bishop. Now d5 is under attack, and so Firouzja advanced the pawn to d4. Best idea, but now this light square bishop in fianchetto is becoming powerful. So knight captures the good bishop on e7 with check, the king recapture, and Nakamura now has the bishop pair. b3, let's notice that with the help of the knight, the terrible skewer bishop to a3 is on the board. I'm not, I tell you the truth, I'm not very familiar with this position, but watching my database, I have 7 games with this position. All the black players play knight to c6, so seemingly allowing this bishop to a3 skewer. But why that? So at first, after knight to c6, also played by Firouzja, if white continues with bishop to a3, something that Nakamura didn't play, now there is knight to b4 with the knight that is protected, closing this diagonal, also with tempo against the queen. So generally, now the white player continues with bishop capture, the knight on b4. If queen to d2, now simply a5, and black is also developing problems. So that's why after b3, knight to c6 is a good move, but why not to play another good move, rook to e8? There must be some problem behind this move. So let's watch what happens. If black continues with the rook to e8, another move that Firouzja didn't play, so here there is again bishop to a3, now with tempo against the queen. Queen to c7 seems the best idea. Knight to d2 and now knight to c6. I can't find any immediate problem with this setup, but I noticed something that is a bit scary. Now after c5, there is the terrible idea knight to c4, knight to d6 with the knight placed in a super outpost, and probably this is why this rook to e8 is not played. To prevent this idea, black must play bishop to e6, but knight to c4 comes the same. Bishop captures, queen capture, and white has the bishop pair against 2 knights, so something to consider. But let's go back to our game. We said b3 played by Nakamura, there is bishop to a3 on the board. All the black players continue with knight to c6. If bishop to a3, the knight will save the game, but Nakamura doesn't play bishop to a3, but continues with a3, controlling b4. Here comes e4, bishop to g5, pinning the knight that is protecting the pawn, so bishop to f5, a new protection. Knight to d2, a new attack. Rook to e8, a new protection. Bishop captures on f6. Black recaptures with the pawn. Now the castle was open, but at least e4 is safe. And here comes e3, good move. Bishop back to g6. b4, another good move. And now d3 with tempo against the queen. Firouzja creates a pass pawn. Queen to c3. Now f5, of course advancing this double pawn. And here comes c5. Knight to e5 is good, but now the knight that is well centralized is blocking the queen. Here comes f3. If black doesn't capture, it's white that will capture. So e capture on f3. Bishop captures. Knight captures, we check. Rook capture on f3. Probably better than knight capture on f3, with the knight still blocking the pass pawn in the style of Ninsovic. Now bishop to h5, good idea with tempo against the rook. And now rook back to f2. Now in this position, bishop to e2 seems very good. Rook to d8, probably even a bit better. But Firouzja decides that it's better to exchange the queens first. And probably this is not a great idea. Queen capture, rook capture, and here comes knight to c4, attacking and defending. Rook to e4, also attacking the knight. Knight to d6 with new threats, but the rook can capture on e3, and the knight capture on f5, attacking again the rook. Rook to e5, here comes g4, the bishop can't win the pawn because there is the knight fork, so bishop back to g6, and now rook to d1. The pass pawn is again under attack. So what to do now? What to play now? Rook to d8 is a good idea, but also h5 played by Firouzja is another good idea. Now of course the pawn can't capture or this knight is lost. So here comes h3. Let's go back one move. After h5, why not rook capture on d3? Because after rook capture on d3 there is h capture on g4. This knight, 2 times under attack, can't move away because because there is the rook on d3. So best idea is to tactically defend the second time this knight. The rook is unprised, but after rook captures on d5, there is the knight fork. Knight to e7 we check. King to g7, knight captures on d5 with total equality. Let's go back to our game. So after h5, that's why Nakamura doesn't capture on d3, because it doesn't give anything to the white player. Continues with h3. Now h captures, and now rook to e4, attacking g4, also with the threat of giving check. But rook to d8 is better. Let's go back one move. Now in this position, with the pawn under attack, rook to d8 is better, because it's true that in the future this pawn can also fall. But of course black will retaliate on the g-pawn. But at least with the rook in the center of the board, the position is good for black. Let's watch what happens after rook to d4. Now after rook to d4, the second white rook can move to d2. Now bishop captures because this knight is boring. G capture, and now the black rook moves to e5. Then king to f2, and in any case, this position is a draw, so good for black. Let's go back to our game. Instead, here comes rook to e4 attacking the pawn, and now rook captures, and rook captures on g4 we check. King to f1, and now black must lose a tempo because there is this terrible knight fork on h6 winning the rook. So king to f8, and in this position Nakamura is better because all the difference is made by this beautiful rook on d3 against this zipping rook on a8 that never moved. Rook to d7, here comes a5, knight to h6 first, attacking the rook and also attacking f7, rook to g3, and now knight capture on f7. This is the real critical moment of the game. Luckily for black, black can also allow this discovery check because can defend well. the best move to play in this position is a captures on b4. Now after knight back to e5, discover a check. The king simply moves to g8 because the knight is attacking the bishop, but the bishop is well protected. Now knight captures on g6 because the bishop is strong. The rook recapture, and now a capture on b4, but b6 with the rook here on the 6th rank is good, and black will draw this game, will easily draw this game. Let's go back to our game. Instead, in this position, Firouzja, scared by this discovery check, continues with king to e8, attacking the rook, but this is a blunder. Now, rook captures on b7, completely destroys any counterplay from black. Bishop captures on f7, and now the rook simply captures back on f7. In this position, Firouzja resigns because the game is lost. There is rook to f8 with check on the board, winning the rook on a8, and if black continues with rook to g8, controlling a second time f4, the simple b5 will win the game, because this pair of connected pass pawns are unstoppable. We just advance and win the game. A very nice game played by Nakamura, but also by young Firouzja, a game that comes after the controversial game 1. But what happened in game 1? It happened that Firouzja, with about 40 seconds on the clock and the winning position on the board, the winning endgame position, wasn't able to play his move due to a disconnection. What to do then? Let them restart 20 minutes later from a winning position with Firouzja able to study the next move for 20 minutes? Or to declare the game a draw, because of course it would be unfair to give the victory to Nakamura for this reason. So after a long discussion, the game was considered a draw, and then the match continued with this game 2. During the live action, I sort of agree with this solution, even if Firouzja is the one that really cannot be happy with this decision, because in my opinion, with 40 seconds, he was able to find the right continuation. Anyway, only one thing to say, probably these tournament regulations should be more clear in cases like this one, but of course this is the first really important online tournament and something wrong can happen. But of course, tell me in the comments what is your opinion about this problem that happened in game 1. Our analysis is over. If you like the game, please don't forget to like the video and to subscribe to the channel. Thank you very much for watching, and see you in the afternoon with a new video. Goodbye!